like another big reason of why I would make excuses to not do therapy was because I thought it was hard to find a therapist. It was just like, where the fuck do you even begin to find a therapist? Like,
People make it seem like it's hard. You
but
really
it
have to do
ain't.
your research, because my first couple of experiences, like, I wasn't feeling my therapist, but it's also the fact that I was resistant to therapy as well. So that
Mm.
could play a role.
Yeah, being receptive to therapy is everything. Like, it ain't
Yeah.
even no point in going if you.
If you don't believe in it, if you don't think that there's going to be a benefit to it, you're going to just struggle with anybody you get, because you already don't believe in the methods that they're going to use.
Exactly, because they probably will have you doing some shit that you ain't really wanted to do before.
Mm-hmm.
Re-
Mm-hmm.
Reflecting on things you don't really want to reflect on.
Accountability. Niggas hate that.
Woo! Okay, because
Accountable.
you hit the nail on the head. Like, definitely, because one of the first methods that my therapist used with me is journaling. So she was having a hard time getting me to like draw out experiences, because
Mhm.
like, you know how you kind of compartmentalize shit.
Yeah.
Like, back in the day, it's just like, we don't think about feelings. So like, you asking me like what made me feel this feeling in the past, and I done put that shit in a box, locked it, and put, you know what I'm saying, put it in the
Hmm.
closet, buried it 3 feet underground, and like forgot about it. Like, I don't want to go back there. Like, I put that shit
Yeah.
where I put it, and I planned on leaving it there, and you trying to get it out. So like, she had me start journaling or whatever, because we wasn't really getting nowhere in therapy. I was trying, but we wasn't getting nowhere. So she had me start journaling. And
Hmm.
like, at first I thought it was just like, man, I ain't got no time for this shit. Like, I got all this shit going on. I ain't got no fucking
Hmm.
time to
Hmm.
fucking be journaling and shit. But she gonna hold you accountable, because the next set she done asked you to write this prompt and to bring back an example. So like, I gotta have something on this fucking paper. So it's like
Hmm.
15. It's on my 15-minute break while I'm at work, and I got therapy right after work that day. So I'm on my 15-minute break. I write like a quick little journal or whatever.
Hmm.
I go back to there. I actually got some significant shit off of my chest in that meantime. Like, went back to therapy. We talked about it. She told me to do it like 2 more times, and before I know it, I got like a habit of fucking journaling.
You journal every motherfucking day. Sometimes go 2 times a day. So shout out to your therapist.
Yo, she straight turned me into a writer.
She
Like,
brought it out. It was already there. She
my
brought it out.
therapist made a superstar. Like,
It was already there. Therapists help you bring out what's already there. I'm convinced. It's like all the stuff that we have that we need is already within us. But sometimes you need significant people in your life to really show you what it is. And I think therapists have like a cool role and significant roles in people's life when they can bring out those qualities in you, especially good ones.
yo, okay. So like, what's a good therapist and a bad therapist? Because I've only had one good
Oh.
therapist. What's a bad therapist?
I'm gonna just start off with this. I'm gonna say a bad therapist is a therapist who does not have their own therapist. Everybody needs therapy, including the therapist. So if they're like not having their own therapist and having their own like check in, that's a red flag for me. I wouldn't even know. I don't know what a bad therapist is, because I don't know. I'm pretty sure I can say what a bad therapist is. I can't really give no concrete examples, but that's definitely one of them. Another one would be just somebody who's not willing to learn and grow in a profession, who's not just willing to educate themselves on different cultures, different methodologies, and different ways of doing things. I would say that's not a good therapist, because you want somebody who's also learning to evolve, and grow, and also eliminate any biases that they may have. Because you want them to be human like you. Obviously, they have a specific job, but you also want to know if they're growing, learning, expanding their education, and continue to stay up on what's happening. A good therapist would be that person who has a therapist, who's growing and learning, who's present, who's in tune with their clients, who's able to like recognize what's working and what's not working, being able to effectively communicate. I think those are good therapists. So I'm sure there's more qualities. What do you think a good therapist is? You've had one. What it sound like?
Yeah. I was just thinking too, like, a good quality like that I would look for in a therapist is like a certain level of open-mindedness.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know a lot of people worry about, when you go in and you telling somebody who, seems to be a stranger, like, you telling them like all your problems and shit, like, you wondering if they gonna judge you. And actually,
They
um
are. That's our job, to judge you. Like, we're gonna judge you, but we're gonna also help you. It's like we have to take what you're saying and obviously look at how we're going to help you and what methodology and what like way what's going to work best for you. But it's like it's a sense of judgment, but it's good judgment. It's not like, oh, you're a bad person because you did that, this, that, and third. That would be a bad therapist because they'll be bringing their own biases and their own opinions into your sessions, into that space. And it's like, that's not what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be open, judgment free, and allow you to be vulnerable, because that's the whole basis of going to therapy, to like open up, to be vulnerable, to be able to share your story and move beyond your traumas.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like in mine, like I actually never felt judged. You know what I'm saying? Like she definitely like hold me accountable, but I think more so than anything, like the thing that I liked about my therapist was she gave me something that I wasn't initially used to, which was somebody acknowledging my feelings.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. All of that. That's why I love my last therapist, because she just made me feel like I'm not crazy. Like, I
Yeah,
felt validated, even though like I may have had people in my life who made me feel that way. But going to therapy, it just felt like good to say what I had to say and like not feel like I was alone. But it also helped me to like reach out to people who I am close to and be able to also do that with them and not just my therapist.
absolutely, exactly. So she made me she kind of like that giving me that validation like is one of the things that like helped teach me that I don't even need the validation.
Yeah.
But like she would do that, like she would validate my feelings and then she would also follow that up with an alternative perspective
Mhm.
of how to view the situation. And I think that gave me a more dynamic perception of the world. It's one of the things that helped me like mature my thought process,
Okay.
because it's just like, you know, like, yes, your feelings in that particular moment are valid. You have every right to feel how you want it, how you feel.
Mhm.
But also, have you taken these other things into consideration? And a lot of the times they would be things that I never took into consideration before, which
Mhm.
doesn't change how you feel, because how you feel matters. But is it possible to feel how you feel and other things be true as well?